The writing's on the wall. The mystery is solved. The numbers are out. It's pretty much what we expected. Hello and welcome. It's that time again. It's time to take a look at the Q1 numbers from Hasbro. How much money has Hasbro made or lost since the beginning of the year? Yep. Just gonna drink my water here. So here we go. And I think you could just tell by the starting art that we're using exactly what has been making Hasbro what little profit it has been seeing since December. And noticeably missing one big thing. I'll give you a second to realize what is missing from that picture. All right, so we're going to go over the numbers as always. The numbers are mostly down as expected. Actually, pretty much looks the same as it did last time we were here, which leads to what's going on with Cynthia Williams leaving on Friday and who, if anybody else, is going to lose their job. And what about rumors of the restructuring of Hasbro? And I know some people are going to say, well, look, Wizards of the Coast, but no. Again, we're going to get into that and show you exactly that despite how they're trying to make things look, it's not that. Now, because this involves a lot of numbers and business and boring things that blah, 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 who really wants to look at, bar grass when you can look at kittens? That's right. Like every time we do this, kittens. Because, if I got to go through this, I got to give you something that's cute to look at. So here we go. Here's your kitten break before we start. Kitten, 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 kitten. Oh, they're so cute. Kitten, 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 kittens. All right, we'll stop at these. Ready? Here we go. The numbers dropped at 7 o'clock this morning and first quarter 2024 highlights. Ready? Bam! Total Hasbro revenue for Q1 2024 is down 24%. Net revenue down 24%. Operating profit down. Net earnings down. Earnings per share down. EBITDA down. All things down. The only things that showed profit were digital gaming with a 7% growth and Furby. Yeah, that's just that one threw me for a loop. Furby? Furby was the one main toy that showed a profit besides Peppa. And yeah, Peppa is still a huge moneymaker because, they've got the 2 Peppa amusement parks, and Peppa's really easy to merchandise. I mean, I think, much like My Little Pony kind of carried them through the first half of the aughts, I think Peppa's carrying them, at least that branch, through the second half. I think My Little Pony still makes some money too, but I think Peppa's kicking ass. But who thought it would be Furby? Now, it does say Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming, and people are going to go, well, see, D&D's making money. Fuck you, OGGM. But no, because you forget that Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming are technically both part of the same thing. When the first restructure happened and they moved Wizards of the Coast over to the new building, so they can say, look, Wizards of the Coast is showing a profit, but really, no, it was digital gaming that's showing the project, and Wizards of the Coast is just riding on the coattails. Monopoly Go, Magic the Gathering Online, and of course, Baldur's Gate 3, and whatever's going on with D&D Beyond, that's what's making them money. Dungeons and Dragons, on the other hand, doesn't even show up anywhere in here. Percolate on that as we move along. All right, Wizards of the Coast showed a profit of 7%. Consumer products, digital gaming. That's Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming, not D&D. Please do not take my words out of context. We will get to how much money D&D made in just a few seconds. Consumer products down 21%. Entertainment down 85%. Corporate down nothing. Corporate broke even this one. Total negative 24%. Not good. Not good. Q1 operating margin from this time last year, not down 8%. Digital gaming down, actually up. It looks like from this time last year. No, wait. Yeah, digital gaming up from this time last year. Consumer products down from this time last year. Entertainment up from this, down from this time last year. Yeah, so net earnings versus PY, about broke even. Yeah. So digital gaming made them $316 million. Consumer products down 21%. Entertainment down 85%. They're still reeling. From the sale of Q1 and the Power Rangers debacle. And as we saw yesterday, they had just licensed off a huge chunk of Power Rangers, and they ended the Power Rangers comic book. So, yeah, I guess Hasbro is slowly delegating the control of Power Rangers before 2025 to others. There's still rumors of a new rebooted series in 2025, maybe on Netflix. I mean, there was that $30 million deal. But as of yesterday, Hasbro and Boom Comics are discontinuing the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book line. They're not discontinuing any of the other Power Ranger lines, but Mighty Morphin, they're discontinuing. We don't know what that means yet. We'll find out more at San Diego Comic-Con. And they just licensed off a huge chunk to Playmates, all the Mighty Morphin line, including the Lightning collection. We don't know what's going on with that. And that's got a lot of the high-end toy collectors concerned, because that, in the Power Rangers money market for toys, the Lightning collection was the big money, because it's going to be adult nostalgia action figure collectors who are going to fork out $60 for an action figure / posable statue, not the kids, and whatever. Playmate's probably going to go for a more retro look, especially because their retro look turtles that they do. But the Playmate toys are usually pretty good, so I don't know, it could be a good thing for toys anyways. Meanwhile, Kittens, blah, 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 blah. Profit margins down 1.2 points. Royalties down 7%. Cost inflation up. That's a bad thing. Operating expenses up. Again, that's a bad thing. The E1 thing still, oh God, they're still losing money on losing E1. I don't think people realized how many things E1 made. But if you go onto Amazon just sort of randomly pick some B movie, there's a 40% chance it was E1. I am surprised how many movies and stuff came out of E1. Way more than I ever realized. But when I'm looking for something to watch on Amazon, there's nothing else, and that's okay, I'll watch this. I'm gonna say pound for pound, about 30% of them were E1 products. So, yeah, I think the E1 sale, especially since the E1 sale was sold at a loss, hurt them a lot more than anybody expected. Inventory is still sitting on the shelves, not moving. This time last year, inventory was up. This time this year, inventory is down. The stuff is just, not moving. What has released for D&D so far this year? I think the stupid Deck of Many Things, right? And Planescape, and the excitement. Oh, at Vendelver, and of course we've got the Vecna thing dropping in a few days, supposedly. So we'll see the D&D money in, I think, just a few seconds. Blah 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 blah. Selling down, licensing down, volume and mix down. Volume and mix means things sitting on shelves. Total revenue decline 21%. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Partner brands, Furby and Furblets. D&D sales 9%. There you go. There it is. Wizards Tabletop. Digital gaming up 7%. Wizards Tabletop down 3%. Okay, so Baldur's Gate 3, which is technically digital gaming, which technically Wizards of the Coast is part of, up. Monopoly Go, up. Magic the Gathering online bullshit. D&D video games, up. Anything that is video game related is up. That counts as digital gaming. Wizards of the Coast Tabletop, down 3%. So that's D&D and Magic. So D&D Magic, there you go, Scott. Sorry, down. More stuff, blah, blah, blah. They're spending more money than they're making. But, they still promise with the 7 to 12% revenue decline from this time last year. And with the $1 billion that they somehow lost between December and February, that we still can expect them to repay us $3 million. Yeah, they're still hoping to repay back $3 million of the $1 billion we lost. If you're an investor, even if you're, an investor like me who owns one share of stock, losing $1 billion, but being told, oh, don't worry, you're going to get $30 million back is like saying, oh, I know you lost $10, but I'll give you $3 back eventually. Going into Q2, they're hoping to increase savings by 50%, but they're looking at a $50 million net cost. So the goal is to break even in Q2, recover from the damage. The Neverwinter, I think that's redundant income at this point because it's been out so long. Guess how many people pre-ordered that after they messed up with the deck of theirs? Oh, well, no. I mean, there was, if you're talking about the Deck of Many Things disaster, yeah, that was a huge thing. Did you know the Deck of Many Things, Mackenzie d'Armes, big thing, the representation thing, how it was going to change the industry? It's already on the 30% off shelves at Ollie's. Yeah, sorry, Mackenzie. That was one of those things, there's a whole bunch of things that they said they were going to do that we haven't seen yet. And that was one of them. If you remember when they did the plans for the future thing, and it was like, making our Wizards of the Coast product available in more languages to be more inclusive. How did they do that? By killing off 2 languages that they made product for. Nothing says inclusion like telling 5 million people we're not going to make games in your language anymore. Screw you, Portugal. Portugal? What'd they ever do? Nobody speaks Portuguese. It's only the fourth or fifth largest language on the planet. Where did Portugal ever settle or conquer or have people that speak Portuguese in? Oh, yeah, because that was happening. And then they also said, hey, we're going to do a 3.5 SRD. So all the stuff we made in the 80s when we first bought D&D, all that 3.0, 3.5 stuff, we're going to make available to you guys again. Nope, hasn't happened yet. A lot of these older ones can be found on DM's Guild. So, yeah, some of those PDFs, if you dig, you can find. But other ones, nope, they're gone. Blah, 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 blah. More numbers. Kitten. Oh, Zoe. I've never had a marmalade. I think it's the only kitten type I've never had one of these, but I can't afford that. There's a, $3,000 cat. Oh. Okay. All right. So what does this mean? What's going on? Obviously, Cynthia Williams knew in some way that she's going to be facing down this. So she hands them their walking papers. Now, maybe she was fired because of the disaster that Wizards of the Coast has been since she's took over. Maybe she gave her notice because she saw the writing on the wall and she wanted to get out before the disaster, the chopping block. Maybe she was on a contract and she fulfilled her contract. Maybe she was like, okay, you're going to be CEO for X amount of time and then you're gone. And now, Hasbro's saying, well, between now and Q2, we're hoping to break even. We're going to spend 50% to make back the 50% so that we break even in Q2. So we get rid of a high-paid CEO who hasn't really done anything except cause damage and replace them with another one who we can pay less and to do the exact same thing or do nothing at all. All these people going, oh, they're going to hire somebody who actually respects D&D and Magic. They're going to hire somebody who actually respects the fans. And more likely, they're going to hire somebody to do the exact same amount of lack of work that Cynthia Williams did for just less money. If we were giving her $10, we can hire a new one who will do the exact same job for $5, right? So there's that. So 26 Friday, are some people more? Are we going to see some firings by Monday of next week? I'd be surprised if the answer is no. I mean, there'll be some reconstructing. There'll be, maybe some people in shipping, that we never hear about. I don't know. But I would be surprised if some people don't get further endeavored on Friday of this week or next week, to follow in her footsteps. Except Brazil. Let's hope they do recover. Hasbro recover or Wizards of the Coast recover? Hasbro. Yeah, sure. Hasbro shows a 24% loss, but, Peppa's still making them money. Monopoly and Monopoly Go. Still making them money. The announcement of Margot Robbie wanting to make a Monopoly movie, which, pretty much was already done. It was called Wall Street and had Gordon Gekko, but I don't know how you'd make a Monopoly movie unless you make it tongue-in-cheek like Barbie. This one, Furby. Who here would like, oh yeah, Furby? I'm not even sure Kyle's even still there. When was the last time you heard his mention? I mean, the people who don't do anything like Kyle probably aren't the ones who are going to lose their jobs, unfortunately. It's going to be the ones who actually do stuff. It's going to be people like, we don't do physical media, so I don't need to keep paying physical media stuff. We're going to slowly be converting to AI DMs, AI authors, AI art. I don't need real DMs and real authors and real art. I don't need to keep making physical products since we've been telling everybody since 2020 we're going digital. So, yeah, people who actually do stuff. But, Kyle, no, what did Kyle even do other than be a scapegoat? Mackenzie, I'm not even sure she's still there. I think after the disaster of Deck of Many Things, they're kind of like just, yeah. Don't they have a new girl now that's doing their little talks? I mean, they have the woman who claims she wrote the Vecna thing, but after literally telling everybody the plot of Vecna and how Vecna ends in her interview, they're like, dude, no one's going to buy it if you tell them the entire plot. So I doubt she's going to be around. Yeah, they need to hire people whose job it is to talk to people. They need to hire press. They have a press person. They have these sensitivity consultants, what are they doing? Obviously, nothing. So if they're anything, and especially if these are the things that are making them money, they need to hire people whose job it is to make people buy more of these. They need to hire advertising. They need to hire public relations. They need to hire people whose job it is to make sure people like Mackenzie and Kyle don't open their mouth. And Crawford, stop talking. Yeah, so Monopoly making them money. The announcements of the Monopoly movie, that's going to make them money. Furby, who saw that? Baldur's Gate 3, that has just been making them money hand over fist. Oh, sure. Laren, ecstatic to stop working with Hasbro. How bad did a 6-year-long experience have to be that they are ecstatic at turning down a multi-million-dollar contract? We'd rather be healthy and happy than make more money, because you guys were that awful to work with. Peppa, I told you guys, Peppa. It's going to be Peppa. Peppa's going to, and until something larger than Peppa comes out, it's Peppa. Magic the Gathering, the crossover stuff, yeah, that's this literally printing money, because even people who don't play Magic are buying the cards for the art. And Monopoly Go, which is the only thing Cynthia Williams might be able to take credit for, because she claims Monopoly Go was her idea, even though Monopoly Go existed before they hired her, but whatever. So there it is, black and white. That's what made them money. That's what they're going to continue to focus on. Furby, Magic the Gathering crossovers, Monopoly, Peppa, video games. Notice what's not in this picture. What main brand that's celebrating their 50th anniversary are they telling us flat out we don't give a fuck about? You can't be more obvious. It's literally there. Please do not come back and tell me how D&D is going to save Hasbro, D&D this, D&D that, D&D changing the world. No, Hasbro is literally telling you right there in this picture what they think is going to continue to make them money going into Q2. And it ain't fucking 50th anniversary Dungeons and Dragons, so shut the fuck up. That's it. I suffered you through this long enough. In closing, yeah. Treat Laren like crap for 6 years. Fire everyone that Laren had developed a relationship with, and then expect Laren to stick around after you're taking credit for what they made. No. Laren will make their own shit, because not only will it make them the same amount or more money, but they'll have complete control over the IP. All that Baldur's Gate 3 TV, Baldur's Gate 3 t-shirt, Baldur's Gate 3 toys, Baldur's Gate 3 Legos, that's all money that's going to go into Hasbro's pocket. Laren would never have seen any, a dime of it. Now they can go make their own thing as good or better and have complete control over the t-shirts, action figures, whatever. All right, that's 24 minutes too long of talking about this. We expected them to be bad. It's not as bad as I thought, considering the $1 billion loss, but 24% is still pretty bad. Yeah. And no mention of D&D whatsoever, other than the fact that the sales are down 3%. Suck it, Wizards of the Coast shills. Suck it long and suck it hard. I mean, yeah, I don't want to see D&D die. I want to see them sell Wizards of the Coast off and hand D&D over to somebody who actually gives a damn about it. But yeah. And it's still early. I'm the OG GM. If you appreciate looking at Kittens and listening to me talk about Hasbro, let me know. If you never want to hear me talk about this topic ever again, the only way you can do that is by sharing and subscribing and hitting that notification button so you always know when I am posting, though I usually post pretty much every day at the exact same time. It's up to you. It's your guys' channel. I'm just the driver. Let me know what you want to hear me talk about. Till next time, thanks for sticking around. Now get off my land, go outside, and buy yourself a Furby.